What's the worst demand your family ever made of you? My family expected me to give my newborn to my infertile sister. It sounds messed up because it really was. Ever since I could remember, my parents treated me like I belonged to them instead of myself. They picked out everything for me, like my clothes, my friends, and even my dreams. I never got to decide anything for myself. It was like living in a glass cage, and the walls felt tighter each year. When I found out I was pregnant, I thought maybe things might finally change. I imagined myself being free and happy for once. But as soon as I told my parents, their faces grew dark and quiet. That night, they brought my older sister Jenna into the living room. Jenna had been trying for years to have a baby but couldn't. I could feel something terrible coming, just by looking at their faces. "We've decided what's best," my dad said coldly. "You'll give the child to Jenna. It's the right thing to do for the family." My stomach twisted like someone had punched me. Jenna sat there with a strange half smile on her face, nodding along like I wasn't even in the room. When I started to argue, my mom snapped, "Don't be selfish. Jenna deserves a baby and you're young. You'll get over it." From that day on, Jenna acted like the baby was already hers. She painted a nursery, chose a name, and told friends she was finally going to be a mom. My own parents bought baby clothes and blankets and toys. None of them meant for me. I felt invisible, like I didn't even matter anymore. The night I went into labor, I was terrified. Jenna and my parents waited eagerly outside my hospital room, excited like they were about to unwrap a present. After Emma was born, I held her tiny body close to my chest, feeling her heartbeat match mine. I stared into her little face and promised her silently that I'd never let her go. When the nurses finally stepped out, I knew it was my only chance. My legs trembled as I climbed out of the hospital bed. My stitches felt raw, pain stabbing through me with every step. Quickly, I wrapped Emma in the softest pink blanket I had, grabbed the small bag I'd packed earlier, and quietly slipped through a side exit. My heart pounded in my chest, feeling like it could explode any second. I spent that first night in a cheap motel room, hugging Emma close, jumping at every sound outside the window. I had almost no money, no job, no friends, just Emma and my fear. We moved into a tiny apartment far away from home, and I found a job at a coffee shop. Life was tough, but for once, it was mine. Every night I kissed Emma's forehead and whispered, "We're safe now," praying it would stay true. But a few months later, the past caught up. I was making coffee at work when a man handed me thick official papers and said, "You've been served." My hands shook violently as I flipped through the pages. My family had found me, and now they were trying to legally take Emma away. The courtroom felt cold and unforgiving. My parents hired sharp-looking lawyers who spoke confidently, like they'd done this a million times. Jenna cried convincingly, pretending she was the victim. Their lawyer kept pointing at me and saying I was irresponsible, unstable, and a danger to my own baby. My voice cracked each time I tried to speak. The judge looked bored, barely glancing up at me. Days turned into weeks. Each hearing drained my savings and my hope. My family called constantly, leaving threatening voicemails saying they'd never stop until Emma was theirs. Fear kept me awake at night, my heart racing every time headlights shined through our apartment window. I started moving Emma from place to place, never daring to unpack fully. Our lives became one long, exhausting run from something I couldn't escape. Then, after a year of constant battles, the judge finally called us all back into court. My heart thudded painfully as he cleared his throat and began speaking. I clenched my fist tight, praying silently. "After careful consideration," he said slowly, "I find the birth mother fit and award her full custody." I collapsed onto the table in front of me, crying so hard I could barely breathe. Jenna stormed out screaming, and my parents sat frozen in disbelief. It was the hardest year of my life, and though I won Emma, the fight left me drained and terrified. Even today, every knock at the door makes me jump. Life still isn't easy, but now when I tuck Emma in at night and see her sleeping peacefully, I know I'd face it all again in a heartbeat to keep her safe.